what it is we're doing here and to get there in the fastest way possible so that we can show up in our greatness. It's our responsibility and we have to. We have to.
You are listening to Turn Your Soul On Radio. I am your host and visionary doctor, Dr. Brandy Victory, and my mission is to assist high-achieving women in closing the gap between feeling unfulfilled to living a life on fire. It is time, ladies, to champion our own lives and turn ourselves on. This is Living Victoriously, ladies. This is how you turn your soul on.
Hello, you strong, beastly women, and I give you that from a place of deep, authentic love. I say that because what we're going to talk about today, we've actually got a couple of topics. We're going to talk about a new moon ritual, so you can have that in your pocket. And then we're also going to talk about the spiritual dimension of cleansing, which is just something I kind of forgot about because it's been a while since I've done a cleanse, and here I am on day 4, and I'm just excited to have this conversation with you. Because there's just so many things that we fall asleep to and just automatic pilot drives ourselves, and we just don't really check in with ourselves and recognize and remember that there's so much more than the day-to-day to-do list that we get caught up in. Before we begin, if you're getting something out of these episodes that I'm sharing with you, I would so appreciate if right now you would just go onto your phone or your computer and subscribe so you can continue to get these downloads, and rate and review the episode or whatever you've been listening to. Rate and review it. I'm really looking to grow this show, and I'm excited that this show is growing. We're in so many more countries now. It's just so fun to watch the growth, and I would love to continue that trend, because the more people that are listening to this, the more women who are touched by these words, then the more awakened our world becomes, the more connected we become to ourselves, and the more women can show up in their greatness. That is my absolute mission on this planet. And so thank you for being here, because that means you're being touched by these words and you're showing up in your greatness. So fun to be on this journey with you. I actually pulled an angel card. I kind of have all these little things that I do in my world to connect into my spiritual guidance, to allow myself to hear the movement that is moving through me, the grace that is moving through my life, instead of getting caught up in my analytical, egotistical, I want it my way mindset, and then trying to push through in the direction that I'm not being called to push or called to go, can create a lot of discomfort. And I'm being reminded of that as I'm on this cleanse, and we're going to talk more about that here in a little bit. But the angel card, I pulled an angel card because we're coming up on a new moon, and I thought, well, what card would speak to, I'm asking the cards, what would speak to my women and myself, of course, but what would speak to my women at this very moment in time for the new moon that's coming up. So so that you can hold this for this intentional moment and throughout the month, since this is a new beginning. And the card was called Answered Prayers. Now, I'm going to read this to you from the little handbook so you understand exactly what that means. And I think as I go through the rest of this chat with you, you're going to see how everything just starts to connect. It's just so cool. I pulled this and I was like, of course. All right, so Answered Prayer. It's so beautiful. It's got an angel on the card, and she's got her hands folded in like prayer, and she's looking up at the sky, and she's got these big, beautiful wings. And the card meaning is, fear not, beloved one, your prayers have been heard and answered. All of your prayers are always answered. Sometimes you may not feel this way because the answer comes in unexpected ways. Perhaps you receive an intuitive feeling, or a new opportunity appears, or a book falls off the shelf. The angels answer our prayers very often by giving us ideas or information in these everyday ways. By drawing this card, the angels request that you be extra observant. Notice everything that you hear, say, think, and feel. Be especially alert to help that comes to you, and be sure to accept that help. You do deserve this assistance, and many times God enlists people to act as earth angels who bring you answers to your prayers. I believe that we're all earth angels, and every single person who comes into my field offers me an opportunity for growth and guidance. So, this is just so apropos, because answered prayers really aligns with our new moon that's happening here. We've got a new moon, and our new moon's in Aquarius, and basically, it's the way the alignment of the planets are happening, without getting into the craziness of it all, it's an opportunity. So as a new moon, it's a beginning of a new cycle. So there's this opportunity for growth, potential. It's the moment where we plant seeds. It's the darkness where the seeds germinate, because it's dark when there's a new moon. It's in the planets are aligned in such a way that it's a new moon that enhances communication, good luck, good news, optimism, happiness, satisfaction, and it's very supportive what we're stepping into. And we just passed an eclipse, so having a new moon after an eclipse gives us basically the green light to move forward in our life or with our plans. Now, the next full moon coming up on February 17th, so the new moon will actually be Monday. So if you want to do a little ceremony, this ritual I'm going to share with you, you may want to do that like Sunday night or Monday morning, whatever fits your schedule. But I like to plan these things out, and usually I plan these out with another person. That way it makes it a lot of fun. And when we're sharing this with community, then I feel like it really empowers things. So if you have some girlfriends that you can pull together, or a boyfriend who will play with you in this way, do it. And if you don't, it's okay. Just go through the rituals yourself, feel into it, like really allow it to land inside yourself. And then if you can, talk about what your intentions are with other people throughout the month. That way it stays alive for you. Okay, so the next full moon is in Virgo, and Virgo is a very detail-oriented strategizer. He likes plans. It's like boom. And then shortly after that, we have Mercury in retrograde. That's going to be coming up at the beginning of March. So this whole series of things that are happening, it's like right now is this great opportunity to discover what it is and receive the guidance and allow ourselves to strategize and plan, like, okay, what is it that I really intend, and what is it that I want to create over the next 30 days, and then allow ourselves to be in the flow of that good luck and the happiness and the satisfaction of moving forward in our life. And then as the next full moon comes, like in the middle of February, then the details will like all come into like alignment. So we'll be like, oh, this is exactly how we're going to get there. This is what we're doing. This is how we're going to get there. We're figuring out what we're doing now, and then how we get there will reveal itself. And then when Mercury is in retrograde, it's not a time to start new business and new plans, but it is a perfect time to get those things that you've already put in play off the ground. It's also a perfect time to clean up the past, like you have some dirty laundry or people you need to clear up things with. But this particular retrograde, I would say to allow that moment to be that time where you're like doing the work to get the projects off the ground, or to create whatever it is you're going to create. All right. So I quickly, because I know I've got a lot to talk about today, I'm just going to share with you a ritual that you can do for the new moon. So again, that would be on this Sunday. Let's see. I don't know what date that would be. The Sunday after this is being posted. Let's see. I don't even know the date today. Okay, yes, February 1st, and it's Friday. So the ritual would be done on Sunday the 3rd or Monday morning the 4th, okay? The moon becomes full at around 1 o'clock on Monday in the afternoon. So anyway, you can do it whenever you want to do it, but if you want to make a plan for it, there you go. And what you're going to do is you're going to, I would say, get your journal, get a pen, get a candle, Maybe even get yourself a special stone. I have a whole collection of stones. I'll just pull a stone. I actually already pulled a stone, and it's called Amazonite. I have to reacquaint myself with it because I haven't worked with Amazonite really. And a girlfriend gave a piece of it to me a while back, several months ago, and I appreciated the gift so much because those stones just are amazing, and that was very thoughtful because she knows me, right? And I just wasn't called to work with that stone in that moment, so I put the stone in my collection, and now I'm called back. Amazonite sounds pretty powerful though, so I'm really excited to bring that forth in my spiritual work this next month. So get your journal out, and what you're going to do is you are going to just write down your intentions. What is it you would like to create over the next 30 days? And check in with the different areas of your life. Check in with business, check in with relationships, check in with work. Business and work may be the same for you. Check in with your creativity, check in with your self-care. Maybe you want to start a sensual dance class. I love that class, by the way. I'm going to be interviewing Allie, the leader of that class, here in the Boulder area pretty soon. So, oh my gosh, look forward to that. Maybe you want to start, a fitness plan or an exercise plan, or maybe you want to start painting or doing something creative, quilting or whatever. So write down your intentions. And then what you want to do is you want to read them aloud. If you're doing this with other people, certainly sharing this with other people is great. Even if you're not, if you're on your own doing this ritual on your own, read them aloud. Read them aloud anyway, because when you say the words and they come out of your mouth and sound, vibration is attached to your intention, just like the written word, when you write it down, it actually gives it more power. When you attach your intention with a sound vibration from your own mouth, your own voice, then it gives it more power. We are here as creators. We bring in thought form, energetics into physical creation. And the way we do that is through these different elements. And so saying it out loud is a really powerful way to begin to embody and allow that creation to manifest. So as you're saying it aloud, you can, if you're saying it aloud with your friends, you may not want to close your eyes and feel into it. You may want to. It's up to you. Or if you're doing this alone, you're certain this will probably be real easy. But regardless, and when you're reading them aloud, I want you to just really feel, maybe close your eyes and feel the vibration of your words. Feel the vibration of the experience that you're creating. Feel the vibration in your whole entire body as if you know exactly what it feels like when you reach that manifestation point, when it comes into creation. And you already do know what it feels like. Know that and feel into that. And you can even imagine, how is it that you walk when you are in this space? How is it that you talk? How is it that you show up? How is it that you dress? What is your lifestyle like? Are you going to bed at a specific time? Are you getting up at a specific time? Are you eating certain kinds of food? Are you hanging out with certain kinds of people? Are you making a certain kind of amount of money? Really get into the feeling and the vibration and feel the vibration. We are vibrational beings, and creation, and a physical manifestation creates from vibration. So you're just really setting the intention to allow this creation to reveal itself in the next 30 days. All right. The other thing you can do while you're doing this is you can ask for it to be revealed what may be getting in your way and how to move beyond that block. Now, if you're in circle with a lot of other women or another person, you can have everyone hold space and do an intuitive question on you. So everyone holds space and questions their own higher self or their guidance. What is in this person's way? What is in your way? And how can you move beyond it? And so when I was studying with Art Running Berries, a Native American Apache, the shaman, my teacher, we did this all the time. We would sit in circle and one person would get in the middle, and the person in the middle would ask a question like, I'm having this problem or this issue, or I want to create this thing, and everybody would do an intuitive read. So we all have this power to do this. All you have to do is close your eyes and ask, and it will be revealed. You may hear words, you may get pictures, and the pictures may not make any sense. That was the biggest hurdle I think most people had to get over. So whatever comes is right, because that's how you receive your guidance, and you don't have to figure it out. So you just go in, you ask the question, what is in this person's way of achieving this now, and how can she move beyond that block? And, maybe one person gets a picture of a boat on a choppy ocean. Maybe another person gets a picture of a giraffe having to reach up to get leaves off a tree. And each of those visions has a story, and you can continue to ask, what does that mean? And you can get yeses and nos. And as women here, we are so connected to our intuition. We just forget that we're able to get this information on a day-to-day basis. So you don't have to be trained to do this. You're doing this anyway. It's just a matter of shifting your intention and your observation to allowing this information in. So once you've gotten the information, even if you're doing this on your own, ladies, of course, it's like prayer work or meditation. You go in, you ask a question, and you get information. So just you're finding out what may be in your way and how you can move beyond the block. And then another technique that is really fun to use is you can just close your eyes and you can see your path. So you're standing here, and then there's a path in front of you to your destination, to your creation. And then as you're looking at your path, look at it and notice, is it wide? Is it skinny? Is it narrow? Is it jumbled up with obstacles? Is it the grass really tall growing in front of you and you can't really see your path? Are there boulders in your way? Are there walls that are built? And then if you see any of this stuff, again, this is more of the shaman work that I learned with my teacher. If you see stuff in your path, like can you tear it down? Can you disintegrate it? Can you just use what I call your magic eraser and erase it out of your space? Can you open the path? Can you cut down the grass? Can you tear the wall down? Can you go around it? So there's ways to look at and really tune into your own subconscious, and it will reveal to you what may be in your way. And it will also reveal to you what you may need to do to get around it. Maybe it's as easy as using your magic eraser, but maybe when you're asking this question, a particular person pops in that you haven't cleared up a mess with, and that might mean you need to clear that mess up before you can move forward on this path. Regardless, whatever it is, let it be what it is, and be willing to follow the guidance, and then do that. Take a little note and check in on this path. I like to clear my path off until it's very wide. Traditionally, maybe actually 100% of the time, I don't know. I don't really take notes on these. I look at my path, and it's a dirt path, and it's really wide, and there's beautiful bright green grass on the edges. I'll find obstacles all the time on there. I just have to figure out how to get them off my path. And when the path is cleared on an energetic level, on our spiritual level, on our vision, then it's so much easier to get from here to there. And we can go without having the bumps in the roads and the obstacles that show up in life. This is intention setting at its finest, and I would just love to hear from you if you're using these practices and how it's going for you. Or if you have questions around it, please reach out. I'm happy to walk you through some of this stuff. I can actually hold your hand and guide you through these kinds of practices until you get them, until you're like solid and being able to do it on your own. It's not a hard thing to do. It's just we're not taught this stuff as children in our society, with the media and all the crap that's going around in our politics and bullshit and medication and anyway, it's really bad. So we're not taught this stuff. And in order for us to wake ourselves up, to become aware of what it is we're doing here, and to get there in the fastest way possible so that we can show up in our greatness, it's our responsibility and we have too, so we don't continue to allow ourselves to drown in the autopilot story that we keep living out. So once you get into this place where you've cleared your path and you're feeling really good about that, see yourself attaining your goal. Like, see yourself walking down that path and reaching the destination and celebrating, like with a big party or balloons or whatever, crossing the finish line and tearing it down. See yourself getting there and feel how good it feels to achieve that. Feel the vibration through every single cell of your body. And then when you're in this heightened state, light your candle. And when you light your candle, you're lighting your intention into existence. You're lighting up your path. And then close your eyes and be grateful. Feel, be, allow, love. Yeah, and then snuff out your candle. So I don't even know where I got this. It might have been from Feng Shui, but so most of us are blowing out candles. And there's energetically, blowing out the candle can blow out the light. So what we want to do is we want to just use like a candle snuffer and just snuff it so that we're not blowing out the light. I guess you could be snuffing out the light. I don't know. I just tend to do that. And then light your candle every single evening for the next month to remind yourself of your creation and thank it for lighting your path. And thank it for lighting up the obstacles so that you can see them coming, or so that you can clear them out before they become a problem, before you rise up against them. Thank it for lighting up your dreams. So in your dreams, you can receive information about how to navigate your path or how to bring forth that creation in a grander way. Thank your spirit, thank guides, thank yourself for the guidance, for the info, and thank yourself for taking the time to do this ritual. Like, that's might be the hardest thing I hear from people. One is they don't believe they can, and two is they don't have the time. I know I get caught in that. Even if you're lighting your candle every night, like make a commitment to light your candle, even if it's for 1 minute. I'm going to light my candle. I'm going to thank it for lighting my path. I'm going to put it out gently, and I'm going to go to bed. Like, that easy. We all have time to do that. Okay. So anyway, there's your ritual for the new moon in February, first new moon. And if you want to share with me, I would love to hear what your intentions are. You can actually share that on the private Facebook group, Turn Your Soul On Radio, or Turn Your Soul On Facebook group, excuse me. I would love to hear what you ladies are doing. I'm going to just shift channels here, and I just want to go into the spiritual dimension of cleansing here for a minute. I'm just so reminded of this. I have this experience every single time I do a cleanse, and I do want to differentiate. There's a difference between cleansing and fasting. Okay, fasting is not having any food at all. Cleansing, I am actually eating food. They're just foods that are perpetuating the detoxification pathways in my body, so I can just release and improve the function of my kidneys, my lungs, my skin, my liver, my gallbladder, my colon, my digestive system. So all of that is like being enhanced right now, all at the same time, and it's moving stuff out, like seriously moving stuff out. And I always tell people that I forgot kind of that it's moving stuff out on a physical level. And it's moving stuff out on an energetic, emotional, and spiritual level. Like, it hits everything. And it's really easy for us to just get comfortable in our lives. That's where I guess I've been for a while. I've been really comfortable in my life, having a little bit of this and a little bit of that is not a big deal. Like, a little pizza every once in a while hasn't been a big deal for me. Having a little bit of cereal every once in a while hasn't been a big deal for me. It was when I got sick and I started consuming those things voraciously that it became a problem. I could feel myself just going down. And the thing is, and I did a Facebook Live about this, the thing is, when you get sick, like when I came down with the flu, it interferes with dopamine, and dopamine is our feel-good neurotransmitter. And so dopamine gets suppressed or not used or unable to be absorbed. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but it interferes with dopamine. So I have less availability of the feel-good neurotransmitter. So I do things that feel good, that enhance dopamine. So like eat food, carbohydrates, sugar, pizza, and then I feel better for a short minute of time because I get a hit of dopamine. Well, when you keep hitting yourself with dopamine becomes too high. And so all the cells in your body have little receptors on them. And there are some receptors in your body that are receptors for dopamine. And when there's too much dopamine, the body doesn't want to be able to receive that much dopamine. So it shuts down some of its receptors. And so essentially, I ate the food, got a dopamine hit, did that over and over and over again to make myself feel better because I was feeling so crappy from the flu. And then the body down-regulated my dopamine receptors. So then every time I would eat or do something to get another hit, I could never get as high as I did the previous time because my dopamine receptors were getting less and less and less available. And if this is the same for drugs. Like drugs are exactly the same thing. So it's crazy because food addiction is real. And that was the name of the live if you want to go back and take a look at it. But essentially, I'm just telling you everything I said there. So the deal is, it's easy to get comfortable in our lives. But when I found myself in this place and it was just, I was over the flu, but still feeling very uncomfortable because my dopamine receptors and God knows what else was affected. I was feeling shitty. So that was my aha moment where I was like, okay, I've got to do something about this. Now, when we're doing something about this, I don't want to get a hold of myself. I always know I can go to this 10-day cleanse. And, my inkling is I may go a little bit longer than 10 days just with the way things are going because I'm really clear that I want to make sure that this isn't just a little yo-yo syndrome, that I want to maintain my commitment to my well-being. So I will evaluate how I'm going to move forward after 10 days, but I'll probably keep doing some of this. I am on day 4 and I'm still having some pain in my body and my hips. My headaches are lessening. I was waking up every day with a headache, and now yesterday I didn't have a headache at all, and today it was very minor. So I can feel things are improving, but I'm already on day 4. So I want to be like, I want to feel great before I end this thing. So it may go on longer than 10 days. But regardless, I've just implemented this 10-day cleanse, and this is what I do pretty much every time I do this. I implement this 10-day cleanse so that I can push myself out of my comfort zone, push myself out of all the stuff that I was doing in that moment before the cleanse that was creating my experience. Okay. So, how do we do spiritual work? How does that come along with cleansing? First of all, we pay attention. Whenever we're doing any kind of spiritual work, we're paying attention, regardless if you're doing like a meditation practice on a day-to-day. If you sit with meditation, regardless of how often you do it, you're sitting with attention on your thoughts. You're sitting with attention on your breath. You're sitting with your attention on stillness as much as possible. If you're doing a Kundalini yoga or any kind of yoga practice, your attention is on your alignment to your body, your alignment to something greater, your alignment to your world, right? These are all spiritual practices, and we are essentially, regardless of which path you're taking, you're paying attention. And how do we pay attention? We integrate a new pattern into our life so that we're taken out of our comfort zone and we're taken out of automatic pilot. So as I'm doing this cleanse, like I said, it affects every area of life. So yes, I've changed the way I eat, and I'm paying attention to my thoughts around food. So sometimes I get a thought about food, and really mine is about texture and smell more than anything. So I'm not hungry. I might hear somebody eating something chewy, and I'll be like, ooh, I want some of that. And I'll notice that in myself. I'll be like, do you want some of that? No, I really don't want some of that. I'm not hungry at all. I feel great and like that, but the texture and the sound of that chewy thing, man, I like the way that feels in my mouth. So this is, I'm a very sensory oriented person, and this is the double-edged sword, because I like to go for things that feel good, and I'm shifting by putting myself in this cleanse box. I'm shifting, and so this is out of my comfort zone because this isn't what I do every day. I'm shifting my awareness as to how these foods that I'm eating now are actually feel-good foods. All right? So yeah, kale has texture. Onions have texture. Apples have texture. Grapefruit has texture. My green smoothie that I'm drinking right now has texture. Everything has texture. So can I enjoy the texture of what I'm eating, and the smell, and the obviously the taste, right? Everything I'm eating is fantastic. But that's the thing, is we're just put ourselves in these situations so that we're shifted out of our comfort zone, so that we have to pay attention to everything. It feels a little like, because I'm not just changing my food. I'm actually went to yoga, even though it was at the gym, because I have a gym membership, and I pretty much, with my schedule right now, I'm just finding it really challenging to have a consistent yoga practice. But we have yoga at my gym, and I'm not a fan of gym yoga by any means. But instead of going to the weight room, I went to the yoga room, and I did yoga and it was great. I enjoyed it. It was such a great change for me. So I'm changing the way I'm working out. I'm changing the way I'm doing my cardio. I'm changing the way I'm eating my food. I'm changing my schedule. I actually just sit down with my schedule and scheduled out free time in my schedule. I scheduled out, okay, when am I going to what time am I going to do my emails? Am I going to take care of my business? Am I going to take care of my patients? And I scheduled all that out because I found myself in this place of multitasking everything and not feeling like I have enough space to do all the things that I want to do. So I had to get really clear with myself, like, okay, I'm not going to be checking emails all day. I'm going to turn off my notifications so I don't get notified, because if I have it on my emails that I send out email, I check emails once a day, and I don't check them on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. That's on all of my emails that go out to anyone who I email. And I've been finding myself constantly checking my emails, constantly checking Facebook, constantly pulling my attention out of whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going back to the system. I've done this before. I'm going back to the system of, you got 30 minutes to do emails. You got 30 minutes to do Facebook. You've got this chunk to do a blog, these 2 hours to do a newsletter. You've got these 2 hours to do this. So I've structured my schedule out so that it takes me out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone, even though it's been not that comfortable, has been multitasking and driving myself crazy. So if I'm going to change that, I've got to change how I show up. So I scheduled it all out, right? So again, it's just taking ourselves out of our comfort zone and out of automatic pilot. Automatic pilot for me was multitasking and driving myself crazy. Literally talking on the phone, writing an email, and cooking food all at the same time. I'm not condoning that by any means. I don't think it's good to do that, but somehow I got back into that pattern, and that was part of my craze, right? So now I'm feeling overwhelmed. Then I want to eat and soothe, and carbohydrates soothe, right? Corn chips and cereal and pizza soothe, gelato, whatever soothes. And now I'm like, oh yeah, let's get back to efficiency in my work, and let's get back into being really laser focused on what it is I'm creating here. So I'm just sharing all that with you because you may want to employ some aspect of your life. You don't have to do your whole life like I just did, but you might want to employ some aspect of your life where you can get out of your comfort zone and get off automatic pilot and make a shift into how it is you would really like to show up, and give it 100% of your attention. My personality is that I'm 100%er. I'm all in with you, or I'm all out. It's not part. I don't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. In anything that I do in my life, relationships, I've never dated the same guy twice. It's I'm in with you or I'm out, and that's just the way it is. Sometimes I have patients that start work with me and then they opt out. And then they might want to come back. And I literally sit them down and have a strong conversation with them, because I'm I'm not an in and out kind of person. Now, I understand some people get to a place where they feel like they've done the work with me and then they're ready to take another step, and that's way okay. But if you opt out and you don't write back when I email you, or you don't call me back, like, I'm not so sure that you're really a good fit for my practice. So if you come back, we're going to have that conversation, right? So I'm 100%er. I'm all in. So for me, just changing my diet leads to me changing my schedule, me changing my workout program, and all the things. So it doesn't have to be like that for you. You can pick one tiny thing. You can go, you know what? I'm going to meditate every day for 20 minutes. Let's see what happens. You know what? I'm going to take a walk or get my heart rate up for 20 minutes every day. Let's see what happens. And in that 20 minutes, you're totally focused on what's happening. And then after that 20 minutes, you're totally focused on how your life is changing, because that's where it's at. Wherever your focus is what's being created. So if you want change in your life and you want to really grow through whatever your dysfunctional patterns are, then you hold on to the essence of what it is you're doing. And even if it's just 20 minutes of exercise a day, the focus of attention lasts the whole 24 hours after you do your exercise. And then the next time you come back and you're like, look, here's what happened yesterday. Here's how I felt. I'm really not inspired to be here, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then after it, you're going to go, okay, here's how I felt and here's what I'm doing. And then as you go, you'll become more inspired, because you'll notice that it's actually making a difference. It's when you're not paying attention and don't notice the difference or the changes or the inspiration or the guidance or the clues, then we just give up and we go back into our old comfort zone and we go back on the automatic pilot, because it's just way easier to be there. And you may find that emotions come up. Like, that would be so normal. And I would invite you to call it in. Like, do whatever it takes to allow yourself to be with your emotional responses throughout the day, because we typically go through life suppressing them. Clearly, I've been doing that too, because I suppress my emotions with food, and that's what happened. I'm like, I have low dopamine. I don't feel good. I'm getting whiny. Let's eat. Yeah, that increases dopamine, and it also is self-soothing for helping me not have to feel into those emotional places. It's kind of like the new patient I talked about on the last podcast, where she came in, she was like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to do the emotional work. I don't have time to think about myself today, because she felt like she wasn't going to be able to keep it all together. And so it's real similar what I'm going through and what you may experience if you begin to make a change in your life with very concerted effort, because what you've been doing has been working for you on some level. But when you go to make a change, things are going to get stirred up on a spiritual level, on an emotional level. And I personally have been feeling like, oh my God, yesterday, of course, day 3 is the worst. But I was just a weepy mess all day. Seriously, I was a weepy mess. And, I guess I kind of felt like I might break. I had to go see patients, and I was like planning, as I'm crying in the morning at the gym, I was planning like, okay, I got to pull this together so I can be full for my patients. And then I remembered, I got shown a picture, like when I walk into that office, everything that was happening before I was in that office is gone. It's not in my consciousness at all. I am completely there for my patients. So I didn't have to worry about that. Spirit just like put that picture into my space, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll just be able to like be present with every patient regardless of how I'm feeling right now. Okay, that's good. So that allowed me to be with those feelings. And we all have that ability. So just know that, like, you have the ability to be with your feelings and work it out and clear it up, and you're not going to fall off the edge of the earth and get lost and drowned in your own tears. It won't happen, okay? So then the question arises, can I pay attention to myself and my own feelings and allow this clearing or healing to happen so that I can actually step into a new vibration? Like, what I'm doing right now is setting a foundation for myself to move into my next stage of life. I actually, just as I was overcoming the flu, I had this download. I was like, oh, interesting. This flu was clearing something. I had some kind of clearing. Even though I was sick, I had some kind of clearing on an energetic and emotional and spiritual level. Like as soon as I got done with the flu, I dropped into this deeper place, like way deeper place of intuitive work. Like I was doing readings for people and like, wow, Brandy, where did that come from? Like it was so evident that getting through that flu cleared something out for me. Yes, it was a very uncomfortable experience, but I was so happy to be able to deepen my connection to my intuition and do these clearings and readings and healings for people that were from somewhere else. So from that place, now I'm doing this cleanse for all the reasons that you know, but also because I want to continue to deepen that experience for myself and for the people I serve. I mean, I have way bigger plans than what I've been doing. Yeah, what I've been doing has been great. I love it. Everything that I'm doing, I love it. And I have way bigger plans. Like I am going to take this podcast to a whole nother level. If you know about biohacking, we're gonna start chatting about biohacking for women specifically. Biohacking is just a way to hack your own biology so that you can be healthier, live longer, feel happier, and enjoy life more. Deepen your experience as a spiritual being here in the physical, creating. All right. So we're gonna be moving down that path. And there's this guy named Dave Asprey. If you haven't checked him out, he's Bulletproof Coffee. He also has Bulletproof Radio. He's like the biohacking guy. Okay, one of them anyway. He started it all. And my plan is to speak at his longevity conference. Like I want that so bad. And the thing is, if I could get there now in the vibration that I'm holding, I'd be there. I'd be there already. But it's so clear to me that where I'm at right now isn't the vibration that's attracted or being attracted to the longevity conference, or I'd be there, right? So I've got to shift my vibration to grow into my next step. And this is my growth journey that I'm sharing with you. And I hope it helps you. I hope you just know that, we all have stuff that we're working on because we're in human form. So whatever you're working on is not a problem. You're not weak. You're not stupid. You're not worthless. You're not loved. All those stories that you may be telling yourself are bullshit stories. So just drop them and know that, yeah, we're all here working on our stuff. And just like you, I'm like, got a bigger vision and I want to step into that vision. So, if I'm going to step into that new vibration, I got to clean up my mess here that I've gotten myself into with processed food and emotional turmoil that I've been suppressing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working through that stuff. So I'm very excited about that. The biggest problem I see is that, women come to me and they're like, oh, I want you to turn my soul on. I've actually heard that. And I've been like, wow, that's so cool. They're so into it. That's amazing. And other people that come to me, even if they don't say those words, that their essence says that. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready for something more in my life. And what happens is they start down this path, and then it becomes challenging and it becomes uncomfortable and their buttons get pushed and they let go. They give up. They opt out. They let life get in the way. They make up stories around they don't have time or they don't have money. And then their own growth starts to lag and they stop the work. And I'm telling you, if it's a priority, you'll show up. When I gave my coach $3,000 for a 4-hour conversation, I showed up. It was a priority. I did not care. I was going to be there. It was so important to me. And trust me, I didn't have $3,000 in my pocket at that time to just give her. Like I didn't. And I didn't know how I was going to manifest that. I cried and cried. I wanted to have this appointment with her so bad because it meant that much. And from that experience, from that commitment to her and to myself, I got catapulted into where I'm at now. I catapulted into this podcast. I catapulted into my online programs. I catapulted in a 4-hour conversation. And man, I'm still doing the work. I still have homework I haven't done from her. So, don't stop. Just bear witness to your own patterns and how you put up your own roadblocks to stay comfortable and like be vigilant on that. This is not an easy path. It takes a very strong woman to stay in the fire. And the expansion of that is so worth it. The acceleration of your growth is so worth it. And it happens as you cut through your own bullshit. So that is your commitment. That's where you stand. You're like, nope, I'm not letting myself get away with this. I am going to stay the course. Okay, yeah, I know this is really uncomfortable, and I've grown some, and that's enough. Okay, yeah, maybe it is. But I also invite you to question yourself around that, around those stories that you're telling yourself. If you've grown enough and you're done with your growth, fine. But if you still are like desiring to have your soul turned on, or if you're desiring to have more in your life and live a life that's more fulfilling, then maybe there's still more work to do. And maybe that work isn't to be done with me, but maybe there's other people in this world that you're being called to work with. And just keep going, whatever you do, ladies. We need your light. So anyway, that is why I called you a beastly strong woman in the beginning, because it does take a beastly strong woman to do this work. And I'm so proud of all of you for being here, because I know you're all doing your best and you're on your path, and I get to be a part of that. So thank you so much. I hope you have a fabulous day and week, and I will be back with you in a few days, and do whatever it takes to turn your soul on. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Turn Your Soul On Radio. Go ahead and subscribe below, and if you feel it's worthy of a 5-star review, I'd greatly appreciate your support in this way. If you'd like to go deeper with me, you're welcome to join our private Facebook group, Turn Your Soul On, or take it to a whole nother level and apply for my 4-month Turn Your Soul On Masterclass. You're welcome to do this at drbrandyvictory.com. Whatever you do, turn your soul on.
This podcast is for information purposes only. Dr. Brandy Victory is not a medical doctor, and the views and statements expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Dr. Brandy Victory and the producers, disclaim responsibility from any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.